What's up guys, Starnes here with Droid When Samsung first announced the Galaxy S7 and Galaxy S7 Edge, they let us know that they were pretty much fixing everything that was broken on the Galaxy S6, which meant we were getting back our micro SD card, we were getting back waterproofing, we were going to get better battery life, and this device looked to be the best phone of 2016. Did the Galaxy S7 Edge live up to my expectations? I've had it now for about a month. This is my full review. Let's go ahead and get started. First up, we'll look at the design and build. If you love the design of the S6 Edge, then you're gonna love the design of the S7 Edge even more. This is basically the phone that would be produced if the Galaxy S6 Edge and the Note 5 had a baby. So you get those curved edge displays on the front, but you also get a curved edge on the back, which just makes for an awesome feel in the hand. The sharp edges from the S6 Edge, which made the phone uncomfortable to hold, are totally gone in the S7 Edge. With a more rounded device, everything feels way more comfortable in the hand. It's one of the most comfortable feeling devices that I've ever held. Of course, we get the same premium build with an all glass back and an all glass front with a metal surrounding. As much as I do love the glass and metal build on the S7 and S7 Edge, there are a few drawbacks. All that glass means all them fingerprints. Not only do you get tons of fingerprints, but you have an extra opportunity to break a back panel, which is exactly what I did on the S7. Of course, you could eliminate the fingerprints and the chance of shattering that back glass with an Urban Armor Gear case or a slick wrap skin. This is one of the sexiest looking phones on the market today. In fact, it is probably the best looking phone on the market. The front of the phone is covered in Gorilla Glass 4. You have a home button fingerprint scanner in the dead center of the bottom of the phone. On the left side is your Resense button, and on the right side is your back button. This is the preferred button layout, in my opinion. The top of the front, you do have your sensors, your in-call speaker, and a pretty good front-facing camera. At the top of the phone, you have a microphone and a hybrid SD card SIM slot. To the left of the phone, you have just your volume rocker. On the bottom of the phone, you have a micro USB 2.0 charge port with a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to the left, your microphone, and one lousy speaker to the right. And then on the right side of the phone, you have your power button. The back of the phone is also covered with glass, and you have that awesome 12 megapixel camera. You've got your LED flash, and you have that biometric scanner on the back there as well. Next up, we'll talk about the display, and this display is just as gorgeous as any other Samsung display that we've seen in the past. One thing that I love about the S7 Edge is the fact that they decided to bump up the screen size to 5.5 inches. Of course, this is a Super AMOLED display, so you're gonna get rich, vibrant, saturated colors. You're gonna get super black blacks, and everything is just going to look gorgeous on this display. The only downside to the extra bit of size on the display is the pixels per inch goes down slightly. So from 574 to about 537, and really your eye will not be able to tell the difference. There's plenty of resolution on this display to give super sharp images. The only real drawback to a Super AMOLED display is the fact that when you go outdoors, you really do have to crank up your brightness. Now with the brightness turned all the way up, you'll be able to see your display just fine. Everything will be crisp and clear. It's just that it looks a whole lot better indoors. While we're talking about the display, I should mention the always on display. On other phones that have had the feature, I've turned that feature off immediately because of the battery consumption. But here on the Galaxy S7 Edge, I didn't really notice a difference between having the always on display on or having it off. Now, one thing that I don't like about the always on display is there is no support for third-party apps. So while it does have the clock and it does have notifications, it only has notifications for Samsung proprietary apps. So if you want notifications for your email, you're gonna have to use Samsung's email application. If you want, text message notifications, you will have to use Samsung's text message application. Other than that, I really love the always on display, especially when I'm using it in conjunction with Samsung's fast wireless charging stand, because I can just sit it there on my desk and it's kind of like a desk clock that is just always on. So it does double duty. It's a clock and it's my phone, and it's being charged all at the same time, so I really do love that feature. Next up, we'll talk about the performance of this phone. Now, there were two different variants of the Galaxy S7. The international version had the Exynos 8, which was an octa-core processor, but it had a lower performing Mali GPU. Now in the US, we got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processor. This is only a quad-core processor, but where it really shines is that it includes the Adreno 530 GPU. This means graphics processing on the US variant is totally superior to the graphics processing on the Exynos 8 variant. Now, in talking to a few of my friends that actually have the Exynos 8 variant, It seems to perform a little better when multitasking. Obviously it would, it has 8 cores. The Snapdragon version is also very good at multitasking, but where it really shines is in graphics processing. Whenever you're playing video games, you're not going to notice any lag or stutters. And really on the Exynos version, you're not going to notice any lags or stuttering either. You're just going to get a little bit better performance with the Snapdragon when it comes to graphics processing. All that being said, in test and also in talking to you all that actually have the Exynos processor, it seems like you're able to get a little better of screen on time when it comes to battery life. It seems like the Exynos processor is a little more efficient, just slightly a little more efficient than the Snapdragon 820 processor. Either way, you won't be disappointed with the performance of this phone. It is a performance powerhouse, and no matter what you throw at it, you're not going to be able to slow it down. Now, both variants of the phone also have 4 GB of RAM, which also helps tremendously with the performance. The one that I have actually came with 32 GB of onboard storage, but the micro SD card slot allows for up to 200 GB of extra storage. Actually, the phone will support 2 TB of additional storage, but there's just no micro SD cards that are available in 2 TB, so Samsung decided that they would just say that it supported 200 GB. Waterproofing doesn't seem like a make or break feature, but when you have it, you really enjoy the fact that you have it. Any dirt or smudges that I get on my phone are no problem because I can just rinse the phone off in the sink. The S7 and S7 Edge are super resilient when it comes to waterproofing. Max Lee actually put his S7 in a washing machine for a full cycle, 45 minutes, and it survived. Unbox Therapy put his phone in a glass of water for 16 hours and it survived. I actually dunked mine in some hot coffee, so it actually is not only waterproof, but hot waterproof. The fingerprint scanner on the Galaxy S7 Edge is actually an improvement over last year's model. It's faster than the S6 Edge and even faster than the Note 5 in my testing. Not only is the fingerprint scanner incredibly fast, it is also deadly accurate. So 99% of the time it reads my fingerprint correctly. Most of the times, if it's not reading my fingerprint correctly, it is a user error. Battery life on the S7 Edge is astounding. It's rocking a 3,600 milliamp hour battery. That's way better than the 2,600 milliamp hour battery that was in the S6 Edge. I never have to charge the battery during the day. I'm always able to finish off my day with at least 20 to 30% of my battery life left. And I'm normally able to get anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of screen on time. That's with the 820 variant. I've heard a lot of people say that with the Exynos 8 variant, they're able to get upwards of 8 and sometimes even 10 hours of screen on time. If you were somehow able to drain your battery, the charging options for this phone are incredible. You do have wireless charging, you have wireless fast charging capabilities. So Samsung actually sells a fast wireless charger, which can get you a 30% charge in about 30 minutes. And then of course they have Quick Charge 2.0 built into the US variant. With the Quick Charge 2.0, you'll be able to get a 50% battery charge in 30 minutes. Just as we would normally expect, Samsung's done it again with another best-in-class camera. DxOMark rates it the #1 camera in the market, and that's because it has a 12 megapixel rear camera with f1.7 aperture. It has dual pixel, it has phase detection, autofocus, optical image stabilization, and a really good LED flash. The autofocus on the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge is the fastest autofocus that I've seen on any smartphone to date. And what you're really going to notice with this camera that stands out is the low light performance. So when you are in some low light situations, you're going to notice that colors stay correct, saturation is still good, and you're not going to have that noise or graininess in your photos. Now this camera does have its limits, so when you get into some extreme low light situations, you will begin to notice a little bit of grain, and you're going to lose some of the sharpness of your images. The reason you're going to get such incredible low light performance out of this camera is the f1.7 aperture lens paired with the dual pixel. The larger pixels just means that more light's going to be able to be absorbed, meaning you're going to have less grainy photos and overall better sharpness in low light situations. Video shot on the S7 Edge looks simply amazing. This camera supports up to 4K recording. Video shot is super sharp with vibrant colors. Exposure is very quick on the video recording, and autofocus is still incredibly quick when shooting video. You get the full suite of camera software with this phone, including a full-on pro mode. With the pro mode, you'll be able to do things like set your white balance and ISO, which if you know what you're doing, you can get some incredible shots. HDR on this camera is pretty good as well. There's also a new feature in the camera software called Motion Photo. Motion Photo is very reminiscent of Apple's Live Photo. Basically what it's going to do is record just a very tiny clip of video before a picture is taken so that you kind of get voices and action along with every photo. Lastly, we'll talk about software. While I've always loved Samsung devices, I have not always been a fan of TouchWiz, and the main reason for that is because TouchWiz has always come with tons of bloatware, and it has also been quite laggy. Samsung has finally taken all the lag out of TouchWiz. Over the past month, I've not experienced any stutters or lags, even on the launcher. One thing that Samsung has done with TouchWiz is they have fixed RAM management and multitasking. Finally, you're able to load an application and allow it to run in the background without having to reload that application every time you come back to it. That has kind of been the pain and agony of TouchWiz over the past couple of years. As I said before, I'm not really a big user of the features that are included with the Edge display. I really just like the aesthetics of the dual Edge display. But there are actually some pretty useful features here. So you have the Apps Edge. The Apps Edge allows quick and easy access to the most frequently used applications. The Task Edge allows you to open application actions quickly and easily. Say for instance, you wanted to take a quick note, or you wanted to set a timer, or you wanted to take a selfie, you can access all those actions by simply swiping the Edge. People Edge is back again, and it allows for super easy access to your favorite contacts. Some other really useful Edge panels include a Stocks Edge, a Sports Edge, there is a Yahoo News feed, and then you have a Weather Widget Edge, a Compass Edge, and a Music Edge. In conclusion, yes, the Galaxy S7 Edge definitely lived up to my expectations. In my opinion, it is currently the best smartphone on the market. Now, we have several other smartphones coming out in the near future, the HTC 10, the Note 6, whatever the next Nexus device is, any of these could easily take away the crown from the Galaxy S7 Edge. We'll have to see what those phones turn out to be. That about wraps it up for my full review of the Galaxy S7 Edge. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this in the future. You can find more of me at droidmodderx.com. Follow me on Twitter at droidmodderx. Thanks guys for watching. Be blessed. I'll see you in the next one.